Harvey Weinstein, the Hollywood bigwig accused of sexual harassment that goes back over the course of 30 years, has officially been terminated from his own production company. The Sunday night announcement followed new allegations of more salacious and disgusting encounters that have been detailed by a couple of women over the weekend, as some in the media are accused of turning a blind eye to his conduct. Trace Gallagher is in our West Coast newsroom with more on this tonight. Trace.
Martha, Harvey Weinstein was fired in part because he broke the company's code of conduct in just the past few days. Variety magazine says the conduct violation is that he tried to intimidate his staffers into not cooperating with the investigation. And just hours before he was dismissed, Harvey Weinstein sent a letter to Hollywood CEOs asking for their support so he could, quote, take a leave of absence and get into heavy therapy and counseling to resurrect himself. Weinstein went on to ask the Hollywood heavy hitters to write a letter on his behalf, quote, saying, I'm desperate for your help. Just give me the time to have therapy. If the industry supports me, that's all I need. And since the New York Times broke the story, 3 more accusers have come forward, including former Fox News Channel anchor Lauren Sivan, who now works for Fox 11 here in Los Angeles. Today, Meryl Streep and Julianne Moore joined a long line of actors and actresses condemning Weinstein's behavior, with Moore tweeting, quote, coming forward about sexual abuse and coercion is scary, and women have nothing to be gained personally by doing so. But through their bravery, we move forward as a culture, and I thank them. Stand with Ashley Judd, Rose McGowan, and others. But other stars, like the self-described champion of female empowerment, Gwyneth Paltrow, have remained silent. As for the late-night host, their sexual harassment outrage appears to be somewhat selective. Watch.
O'Reilly's suddenly off the air. I mean, like, listen, like 2 weeks ago he was on, a week ago he was on, suddenly gone. This is huge.
Huge when Bill O'Reilly was facing sexual harassment allegations. Not so huge, apparently, for Harvey Weinstein. Granted, Colbert and Kimmel have tweeted negative Weinstein comments, but the subject is having trouble making it into the late-night monologues. For example, SNL prepared a Weinstein joke and then cut it out. Finally, we should note attorney Lisa Bloom, who made a career out of going after alleged sexual predators, is now being attacked on social media for defending one. Even her mom, Gloria Allred, was critical. Bloom has since resigned from representing Harvey Weinstein. Martha.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. We talked about that on Friday night. Trace, thank you very much. So here with more, Howie Kurtz, host of Fox News Media Buzz, and Mark Eiglash, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. Gentlemen, welcome. Good to have you both here tonight. You know, as far as SNL goes, you know, they poke fun at almost everybody, and being edgy and provocative and going places where most people won't go is what they do. So why did they shy away from taking on one of their own? Howie?
You know, I'm not buying the explanation that they did the jokes before a studio audience. They fell flat because Harvey Weinstein is a New York guy. Come on, the guy got fired by the company that has his name on it. His brother fired him. You could have found something for Weekend Update. Same thing with the late night comedians. They basically built their brand this year, bashing President Trump and Republicans, and somehow they didn't see fit to touch this. Very different story when it involved Fox News.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, Mark, weigh in on this part of the story, you know, the sort of double standard for how this is covered. Either it's, you know, reprehensible behavior, no matter who it's coming from or where they're, you know, what your political ideology is, or, you know, who's supportive of your industry or not. But that doesn't seem to be happening from Hollywood.
Right. With the SNL thing, I'm not saying, I mean, clearly the image of impropriety is there. I mean, you know, you make fun of all the major issues, and this one you left out. So it really looks bad. But their job is also to make it funny, and apparently it wasn't. I can buy into that just as easily. He's also not Donald Trump. To plausibly analogize him to Trump isn't necessarily fair. Weinstein isn't as well known, and so I can buy that explanation.
But the explanation was that it was too New York, that it was a too New York story, and people didn't get it. I mean, Donald Trump's from New York, too.
And the joke wasn't funny, Martha. I mean, apparently they ran it by, they cut a lot of stuff. It just wasn't funny.
Howie, what do you think?
Maybe it wasn't funny.
Howie?
Look, I mean, this thing just screams double standard. By the way, everybody knows who Harvey Weinstein is.
Everybody
does.
Everybody knows Shakespeare in Love. Everybody knows Good Will Hunting. Everybody, I mean, there's a million ways that you could make it, understandable
movies,
to people who might not know who Harvey Weinstein is, who they're talking about. You know, Mark, in terms of the legal side of this, let me stay with you for a moment on this. Fired by his own company, pushed out for breaking their own code. Thoughts?
Well, that was the right thing to do from every perspective. But here's the problem. My biggest problem with this is what happened? Now, most of us know, I mean, 8 lawsuits were settled, 3 decades of abuse allegations. But we were told just last week, I accept responsibility. I've angered a lot of people. I've hurt a lot of people. And I'm going to go get therapy. Then we also heard that don't believe everything you read. What the New York Times put out there is false and defamatory, and we're going to sue. Which one is it? Pick one, just so we know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and Lisa Bloom, who everybody's very familiar with, who was, one of the lead attorneys against Bill O'Reilly and against many people out there who have these accusations, stood up for Harvey Weinstein, was tutoring him to teach him now how not to be a dinosaur, and now her own mother said that she would defend the people who were accusing Harvey Weinstein, even if her daughter was involved. She's changed her mind, Howie.
Well, I spoke to Lisa Bloom today, and she says one thing the New York Times published about her was flat out false, that it was a lie, and that was the notion that she was suggesting putting out pictures of some of the women who were accusing Harvey Weinstein in friendly encounters with him. She was just saying those pictures are out there, the media have them, they're going to be out there. As far as the larger point, and you mentioned, or Trace mentioned about the Democrats, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, he held fundraisers for them. Haven't heard a word, and that really reinforces the point that some people just get a pass if they're part of the sort of liberal Hollywood movie backslapping culture.
Double standard. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good to see you tonight.